all for joining us. Just a little housekeeping. If you have questions, please type them into the chat box. We're going to attempt to answer all of those, maybe as we roll along, or potentially at the end. We've allocated some time for Q&A. But thank you very much. Appreciate everybody's attendance here on today's webinar. Our hope is that you're going to get a lot out of this. So the point to this webinar is to talk about what it takes to establish a UCaaS reseller business, and to do so making big profits. Now, we've broken this down into 7 steps. So I think our hope here was to keep this kind of nice and dull. If there's particular areas that you guys want us to stop and focus on, again, just ask a question in the chat and we will attempt to answer that as we go along or at the end. So let's take a look today at our presenters. I'm Wayne Lant. I'm the VP of Partner Operations here. And I have with me Jamie Norris, who manages our onboarding and customer success teams, and Hussein, who leads up our sales team. Combined, I don't know if I necessarily want to do the math, but I bet we got about 40 plus years of experience in this business. So we bring a wealth of knowledge from a variety of perspectives. I actually started my career here as a reseller of actually several different platforms, but Cisco being kind of the bigger one. So I've got a lot of experience, I think, on a couple sides of the fence here. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the customer experiences and acquisition of new customers too when we get towards the end. Let's take a look at our agenda. So real simple today. I'm going to talk a little bit about the industry. Then we're going to highlight some of the profit potential within the industry. Then we'll talk a little bit about the different business models. So Hussein is going to focus on that part. And that is I think, crucial choice that you need to decide early on. So I'm excited to hear his piece on that. Jamie's going to talk about operationalizing your business. So as much as you can, you would like this business to likely be set and forget. And there's a lot of things you can do to make this a fairly easy business to run, and Jamie's gonna highlight what some of the keys to doing that are. And then I'll again circle to finding customers and growing and scaling your business. So let's go on to the next slide. So some people might think UCaaS, is this still an opportunity? And I use the word still because the UCaaS industry or market has been a thing for just about 15 years now. And you would think that at a point you would have sort of leveled off in a market and you would not see growth. But Jamie, if you go to the next slide, you actually see that that's not true. There's still a lot of upside potential within this market, even though it's starting to become a much more mature market. So in particular, in the United States in 2023 was almost 16 billion in UCaaS sales. That's projected in 2032 to be a bit over 100 billion. Personally, I feel that's a little aggressive, but this is what the analysts are arriving at. And frankly, they're probably smarter than I am when it comes to stuff like this. But there's also, even if this wasn't growing as quickly as you see here, this is still a very lucrative business to be in. And part of this is, if you think about how customers have made decisions in the last few years, is they've typically signed contracts. Those contracts are 1 year or 3 year in most cases, with 3 year being the most common of the commitments that customers have made to the service provider. What that means is that at the end of every 3 years, there's a potential new decision to be made. Do they re-up? Do they make a decision to move to a competitor? Add to this that there's actually some good news in terms of how some of these bigger UCaaS providers have treated their customers. If you think about it, most of the business sold in this space was either sold directly by the service provider or it was sold by an agent. And what that typically means is that I've got a customer who is supported by a service provider. So that means when they have a problem, a non-technical person calls a person in a whole nother geography who is likely not all that technical at tier 1, 2. And you got two non-technical people, one on one end with very limited tools to help the customer, and the other who doesn't understand the nuances of what might need to occur within their network or their environment to help improve the situation. So it leads to what you would call a bad experience for a lot of customers. And truthfully, this is why a lot of customers just really want their MSP to manage this. They know the MSP can handle the issue. They can take care of all of the technical issues. They don't have to get on the phone with anybody. And they're probably talking to their MSP fairly regularly about other things anyway. So it's easy to fold into the conversation and just kind of let it be handled in a way that they don't have to think about it any longer. But lastly, one of the other things to consider about this industry is that there's a fairly significant amount of profit relative to most things that an MSP can sell. You're going to see that the margins here can be significantly higher. And if you've sold as an agent, you're going to see you've been leaving a lot of money on the table. Probably anywhere from like 2 to maybe 4, almost 5 times what you could have made if you thought about going to market in a different fashion. So, Jamie, if you don't mind, what we're going to kind of focus on here today then is to help you get this business set up so that you're looking at large recurring revenues. So we want you to be 3 years down the line or 5 years down the line where you're looking at money that comes in every month. You're going, holy cow, I got a lot of money coming in every month and I don't have to do a lot of work. And in fact, I like to recount a story of one of our partners I was talking to who said, Wayne, this business is so set and forget it. And I got a lot of profit coming in through it. I'm going to sell my MSP customers. I'm 62 years old. I want to go golfing. I can do that. I can work part-time managing this business, and I can sell off my MSP to another local company. So he was looking at his exit plan here, and hopefully you guys can look at this in a way that makes something meaningful for you and your organization and you personally. But how do you?
Sorry.
Oh, that's right.
It went too fast. There we go.
So to win in this space, it all starts with choosing the right business model. So Hussein is going to go through the details of that, and hopefully through that process, you'll see, oh yeah, that business model is the one that resonates with me. So Jamie, if you don't mind, back up just one.
You want to go back one?
Please. So you also have to think about this from the perspective of if you're going to get into this market, you got to compete. So you want a good product. You want something that you can go up against a RingCentral or a Vonage and know you can win. And then you need a good partner, somebody to help manage the infrastructure for you, to help onboard, to train you in how to succeed, and help with support for things that may be outside of your capacity. And then again, automating everything, creating that set and forget business, and then take that profit, reinvest, and grow in your business. Doesn't even need to be in this part of your business, but other areas of your business might consider that there are opportunities to take your profits and invest in other ways. So with that, Jamie, if you want to go on to the next slide, and Hussein will go on to talk a little bit about some of the business models that are available.
By the way, just to add on to what you're saying, Wayne, I hear it all the time. VoIP is not only a lot easier to sell right now, but it's also to manage. As long as you set up the PBX correct and the phone is ringing, nobody's going to bug you or bother you. Not like the IT side, usually. All right, so here we're going to talk about the different models to actually offer VoIP. So technically, there's really 4 ways you could do it. We'll skip the enterprise one. That's if you have, thousands of endpoints, but we'll skip that part. But the most popular 3 are the agent model, which I put in here most common, multiple different reasons. The main one is a lot of different flavors of that. And then even though we see the number of MSPs or VoIP providers now moving toward the white label in some shape or form, it's still the agent model is the most common one. Now, then you have the co-branded or the dealer program, where it's kind of like the next step if moving from the agent model, but you're not fully 100% ready to become your own VoIP provider, then the co-branded would be a good transition step for you. And then the last one is a full-blown white label or UCaaS provider, where now you have full control of the pricing, packaging, support, revenue, everything, and now you are your own VoIP provider. Next slide, please. Let's talk about the agent. So we're going to talk about pros and cons of each program and kind of dive into them a little bit more. So agent model, again, there's a lot of different flavors of that, but the main one is where you're going to sign up with any of the cable companies, the RingCentral, 8x8, Nextiva, where you get a customer or a lead or a prospect, you send it to them, they quote it, they install it, and you're typically, they support it, but you're typically have limited control or no control at all, and you're only making 15 to 20, 12 to 18 to sometimes 20% commission, sometimes with a spiff upfront. The benefits of this program is you really don't have to have any knowledge. You can just sign up with them, again, whether directly with them or through a master agent. You send the lead, they install it, and you just get your commission check, and then they support it for you. The downside is the low commission. You don't have any control. So typically what I see happen a lot is, let's say you refer someone to RingCentral, they have a problem. A lot of times they actually end up calling you versus calling RingCentral directly, because they say you referred me to them. So they call you, and then you're at the mercy of RingCentral. You have to call their support and make some wait for them to make the changes. You can't make the changes on your own. And the main thing also is, since you're only making commission checks, you don't own the customer. So it's not going to even add a value to your company. And another thing too that I should have added to the drawback is, you risk the risk of actually losing that customer. Especially I've seen it happen before, where let's say a Spectrum or a Comcast, they offer a managed, if you sign up as an agent, they own the customer, but they always come up with new IT services like a managed firewall or something like that, and they can actually advertise their services to that customer, and you might end up losing them. But this program is fine if you just don't want to get into VoIP at all. You don't want to learn about it. You just have 1 or 2 small customers. You don't care. It's completely fine. Now, the next step, if you're ready, if you're kind of in between, you want to have your own brand and get into the VoIP business, then the co-branded would probably be a good fit for you. And the benefit of this program is you own the customer. Everything will be under your brand. You'll have more control, and you don't have to deal with any of the compliances and filing and all of that. The only drawback with this is, it's more commission than the agent model, but not as much as the full-blown white label. You still have to offer, now you have to offer tier 1 support. So you're going to have to go through some basic training and have some knowledge to offer tier 1 support for that customer.
Before we jump, I want to expound a little bit on this branded dealer program. It's a relatively new program. What we found is that there were people who came to us who, and Hussein will talk a little bit about white label, but didn't feel the white label was exactly the best fit. This gives them a lot of the benefits of the white label. So your brand is front and center. The only exception being when dealing with compliance related things, so taxes, that sort of thing. We would handle that as a piece of that. But everything that your customer sees is going to have your brand and your name on it. So it's a branded dealer program, very similar to what you might have thought like in the old days of selling hardware. The dealer programs, with the exception being the dealer programs for like a Mitel or Avaya, actually led with Mitel or Avaya. This leads with your brand, and you recognize the revenue. This is not a commission program; it's a revenue program.
All right, and then the last one is the white label, which now that the benefits of that obviously is not only you'll have full control again, not limited, but full control over everything. You're invoicing your packages, you're quoting your subscriptions. You're the VoIP provider right now. Profit margins, I would say actually they're 60 to 75% or more. And now, since these are your customers, you have add more stickiness to that customer. These are booked, contracted revenue, so it's going to add value to your company in case you want to exit, hopefully down the road. The drawback is the same thing, just tier 1 support, some basic training, and then compliance. And I'll get into the compliance because as some of you know here, I see some of our partners here on the call. We provide you the tax report, but we'll get into that later on. All you have to do really is file. Next slide, please, Jamie.
Yeah.
So to recap, this is kind of the different models in here. So again, on the agent model, provider's brand, provider's customer, you don't have any control. Typically 12 to 18% commissions, sometimes with a spiff up front, even though they're not barely giving out any spiffs anymore. Taxes is on the provider. Support provider owns the support. Best fit for MSPs or MSPs that really don't want to get into the VoIP business at all, and or someone that just have a couple of small customers that they don't care, but like, okay, here, I don't want to learn it, I don't want to do anything with that. Then the next step would be the branded dealer program. I'd say this is if you have anywhere from 0 to 50 users or extension and want to get started, want to grow, then the branded or co-branded program is good for you, where it's going to be your brand, your customer, you have high control, 35, 40 to 50% profit margins, all the taxes, compliance, RingLogix support for you, operation burden, really nothing, because now we have RingOS, which is a true single pane of glass, single portal, single login, where you manage all of your customers and all of their services. So it's very easy to use. The support, you just take the first call, the rest is on us. So you have our success team, you have our support team, you can call our support, chat with our support, open tickets. Plus we have all of our knowledge base and all of the market partner university available for you. And then the white label, again, this is the full blown. It's kind of the quote branded on steroid. This is good. I would say anything from, and we have 2 different white label programs, and I'll explain that in a second, but it's anything 50 extensions and higher. Then you should definitely consider going into a full blown white label program, where now you're not only will have full control, your margin increased. The only thing is you have to file your taxes here, which we provide you the reports. Everything is else, same thing as the co-branding, where you're going to have full access to RingOS. You control the pricing, subscriptions, invoices, everything in here. Next step. And this is just kind of show you some of the numbers. Again, on the percentage wise, agent on average, again, this varies, but on average, I say 12 to 20%. Co-branded, you're going to make 2.5 to 3x that. White label, we have two different programs. We have kind of the entry level program, which we call it our start program, where you make 50% margin because the minimum commitment on that is low. And then if you want our grow program, which is the full white label, then your profit margins are 70% plus. Next, Jamie.
Yep.
And then market your own brand. I'm doing that, or you're doing that?
You are.
Okay. So you're just a kind of a sneak peek on the RingLogix. So when you send out invoicing, when you send out quotes, everything will be branded to your company's name. Your customers will never see RingLogix. We'll just sit there behind you and support you. So again, you can create your subscriptions, pricing, packaging, your billing profile, all of that. And then again, if they're your MSP customers and you're adding VoIP, what are you doing? You're adding stickiness to your customer, makes it a lot harder for your customer to leave you in case they get approached by someone else, because now they have all the most of the services with you. Next, Jamie.
This is
So,
my yeah, I just want to quickly too, Hussein, if you don't mind, before we get into getting ready to install and support, I just want to take an opportunity to get into the RingOS portal for those of you who haven't seen the portal before. I know we have some existing partners on this call, but there's a lot of non-partners. I do want to show you how easy it is, the step that Hussein just described in building your business with adding your branding. So I'm going to take you into the portal really quick. Is that what you were going to bring up, Wayne?
yeah, I was gonna say it might be helpful. I know Hussein
Yeah.
just talked about it, but I think the visual of
Yeah,
how
do
do
a
you actually
snapshot
do
of it.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this, of course, is the magic of the internet, right? I had it ready for you guys. But I'm logged into our RingOS portal, and this is a demo account of ours. So you can see at the top, your logo would show here. And then you can actually select the color scheme that would exactly match your logo. And it's really quite simple. So if I click on my admin tab here in the top and I go to settings, you're going to see on your main profile, this is all your main contact information that can be edited, right? So you can even, edit your name, your address, anything you want on all by yourself. You don't have to like call us to update this stuff. In your custom branding section, you're able to upload your logo and a favicon if you have one. And then the color is pretty cool. We have right now using the custom theme where you can actually use they call it like the eyedabber here, eyedropper, but you can actually click it and hover over your logo once it's uploaded and it'll pull that exact color. So you can actually make this match your uploaded logo exactly perfect. So, it's super easy, super quick. It doesn't take, like a marketing team to get your branding into RingOS. Do you have any other comments, Wayne or Hussein? I just wanted to pop in here and show real quick.
Yeah, the only comment is that this is your only login in here. So from here, you can select your customers, manage your billing profile, add your subscriptions, add all the services. I've seen it with other platforms. You have to log in to the PBX, create the users, go into the billing system, create your subscriptions, possibly a third place to manage your DIDs. With us, everything is within RingOS. So it's our own software. So that's all I have to add.
All right, cool. Well, let's go hop back to the presentation again. There we go. We back on there. Can everybody see that?
Yep, you're good.
Good. All right. So this is where my team and myself come into play here. So getting you ready to install and support your customers. So this slide, and so just so you know, we have a really unique training program at RingLogix. I feel like it's unique. I don't think a lot of companies do this anymore, and we've held pretty tight to it. But this visual depicts like what a typical partner journey would be. And some partners move faster and some move slower, and it's all totally okay. But this just gives you a generalization of it. So the start phase is typically a partner's first 6 months with us. What we want to get you through is the initial basic training. And like I said, it's pretty unique and cool. We still do in-person sessions. So, we do have a learning management system, which is great, but I know a lot of places, they just, dump you into, their academy or whatever, and you got to take these online courses. We actually get really hands-on with you, and we have in-person sessions. They're all recorded, and we get you through that basic training. We try to do it fairly quickly for you, so within the first week of signing up. Also in that first 6 months, our team wants to help you bring 2 customers over, right? So that can be, either reviewing systems for you, we'll help you build them. We give you support on cutover day. So that's another, kind of unique program that RingLogix has. And then we also have a full go-to-market campaign. So it's set up as a couple meetings, but Gabriella, who's on the call on our marketing team, she created a full plug and play drip campaign for partners that sign up. So a lot of our partners do take advantage of that as well. So that's start, and that's where we're really really engaged with you. We try to, be with you for that first 6 months. Now, growth, that growth phase, that 7 to 12 months, we're hoping to help you improve on your sales capabilities if you need that. If you're great already, that's cool too. And maybe if you're going to look to work in verticals or you've never done that before, we can assist with that. If your goal is to bring on bigger customers, we have some tools to help you. And then we also have a lot of cool advanced solutions for our partners. So we go out into the world and we find third-party vendors that we feel could help impact revenue in a good way for our partners and their customers. We go ahead and take on those minimum commitments on behalf of, instead of making you go out and do it and having your own minimum commitment. That way our whole partner community can access these tools. So in the growth phase, we start to get you involved with some of those cool third parties. Just Zima, which is a really cool contact center product that integrates with the NetSapiens. It competes with like Five9 and Genesis, Nice and Contact. So just Teammate, Microsoft integration. So we have that for partners. Scaling is typically that 13 to 36. So we just want to see you growing. Honestly, the biggest point on here is we want to see you grow in MRR. So, in that scaling phase. And the maturity, of course, right? Retaining the customers that you brought on. So maybe cross-selling them and upselling with those third-party products. So it's just wanted to get into the journey so you can kind of see where we're going with this. All right. Now, training. I mentioned we have a really unique training program, and we do. So the in-person sessions are designed to help you launch your business, right? So this is completely customized. We have a structure, but we try to make it pretty personal. So we get you typically branded if you allow us to before you even get into the portal on your first day of training, and then you can tighten it up with what you want to change or what you like. But we're going to train you to set up and bill. So setting up your customers, sometimes we even do a customer, a real one in onboarding. And then introducing you to RingOS. RingOS billing engine is really sweet. It actually could operate as its own independent billing engine. So besides, VoIP, you can bill anything in it. And you can also set up your own custom billing. So we don't tell you what plans you have to sell. You build your own plans, you name them what you want, you create them, you apply them. Once we get into the hosted PBX, we're going to just basically teach you how to build it, right? What's the easiest way? What are all the features? And once again, we customize it. I always try to, build, if we don't have a customer to bring on right away, we build yours, right? So, we talk just like you would with a customer. And then, once you build it, you got to deploy it and install it, and we want you to be successful there as well. So we have ton of material, checklist that can walk you through installation best practices. And then we have an awesome support team. So we have support in 3 different categories. So, you have your true technical support. We have a provisioning team, lovingly known as LMP. And then we also have our billing team. Since RingOS is its own independent billing engine, you got to know what's going on there too, right? So, and I have a fun little story too. I started off in this industry supporting a national brand where I worked with resellers that were on a commission structure, much like Hussein described that agent model. And I supported hundreds of partners who were out there just like kicking ass and making sales. And that's the hardest part, right? And, I saw what they got paid in commission. And when the RingLogix opportunity was brought to me, it was kind of funny because, I had a job, so I didn't really need a job, right? I was just, checking out RingLogix, went to the interview. And to me, the most important thing, I asked our CEO and our CFO when I was in my interview, they were talking about RingLogix, and I was like, yeah, I don't really care what you have to say. Can you show me? And they were like, whoa, you want to, and I was like, well, yeah, I want to see it. If I got to sell this or, my partner's have to like it. Like, I want to see it. So, they put it up on the big screen. And that's why I'm here, quite frankly, was that demo. I saw that I had partners that were working so hard and then watching this and seeing how easy it was to set up, I was like, this is awesome, right? So, that's the reason I'm here, and that's why I can fully support RingLogix when new partners come on board, because I loved it myself. So I'm not going to sell something that I don't like, and I'm not going to support it. So just a little fun story there. Cool. Let me check the chat, see what we have for questions.
So, I'll take these, Jamie.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you, Sean, for the comment. Jamie and Hussein are both excellent people to work alongside. Them and RingLogix are great partners. Thank you for that. And then we have another comment. What's that?
I paid him for that.
I didn't. He really
well
liked
worth
me.
the money. Well worth the money. David had a comment here, really a question. Can a white label partner offer a fundraiser program to a local nonprofit or charity where local businesses and individuals subscribe to their service as a donation to the nonprofit? Yeah, I'd say one of the nice things about this particular kind of program, David, is this is your service, right? You understand your how you want to go to market. If that is a call it a lead generation, or you're simply trying to be benevolent to the local nonprofit, that is all up to you. We won't tell you how to sell it or manage it in that way.
Cool. Good stuff. My button keeps disappearing. There it is. All right. Just a little, so we're also going to send this slide deck out to all the participants and anyone who signed up. One of our cool courses that you can take in person is implementation best practices. We give you some assets that can help you out. I love a good checklist, right? I'm a Gen Xer. I love a good checklist. So of course we have checklists. If you're not interested in person, we have it recorded. If you guys want to check out our YouTube channel, I've linked the implementation best practices webinar here. So when you get this follow-up, you can check it out. But just one of the cool offerings that we do, we have many, but implementation best practices. Now support for support, right? We're of course always here to help, but we also want to make sure you have the self-service options, that you need. You don't have to be an expert though, right? If you can answer 5 questions, we can solve the problem. So here, I'm going to get out of the slide deck because for those of you who do know me, I'm not like super big on slides. I like to get in the thick of it here. So I'm going to show you some cool things that are available to you in the portal. So once again, with the power of the internet, I kind of got here. There's some other steps that you would take to get here. But what you're looking at right now is the admin PBX dashboard. Okay. So I'm logged in as an administrator. For maybe, I don't know how many are old school premise guys and gals on this call, but you know, I kind of have this in my blood. My mom used to work for CenturyLink, right? I know that's probably not like, nobody likes to hear CenturyLink. They were kind of a awful company, but she worked there for many, many years, and she was actually a technician. She worked in the CO. One big gripe she always had is whenever somebody called in and maybe they had like a call quality issue, she would have to go out to the site and sit at the site, right? And wait for another call with that type of quality to come in so she could run a trace. So as far as, you know, our team will always assist you, but we also try to, you know, teach a man to fish type mentality around here. So any call that comes into your PBX, we are going to give it a QoS score, a quality of service score. And if you hover over the score, you're going to see if that call had moss, jitter, loss on it. And if you click on it, you can actually get like the full CDR share. So I have some graphing not available probably because it's an older call. And my PCAP, it just because it was older calls is not currently available. But if I had a current call on here, it would be. Now, this is super technical, right? I just wanted to show you the coolness of it. I have two other items that are more maybe a lot of our speed. So I'm typically a cradle to the graver, right? I'm not technical support, so I will never tell you I know how to read a SIP log. Our tech support manager's been trying to teach me for a few years now, and I refuse to learn it. This is more my flow. So this is, you know, call came from phone number to extension 101 on this PBX. It's ringing, right? It was answered. And then, you know, we talked for a little bit and that hung up. All right. So this is a really good way to troubleshoot right at your fingertips, mind you. Like I have not gotten up off of my chair to come in here and show you this, right? And this is the same portal that I was logged into earlier. So this, I haven't gone anywhere. If you are into SIP flow, right, or you can read these, we also give you the full SIP trace, which is pretty cool. And then you can share it with our team. If you're not a SIP reader like me and you want our team to help you out, you can share this and give it to them and they can read it and tell you what's going on. So that's just one way that we can support you. I mean, there's multiple other ones. I just wanted to highlight a really cool one that's in the portal. Do we have another question in there? Or are we good?
Just a comment. It says like.
Oh, yay.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Okay.
These are tools that I think anybody who's been doing this a while would look back and say, "God, I wish I had that 7 years ago."
Right.
Yeah, I did it all, Harry. I built it myself. So
Yes, yeah.
That's hilarious. So yeah, and I mean, even when you submit a ticket with us, right? We have it all departmentalized, so you do it in the department that you're looking for. And if it is, we ask you questions, right, in the ticketing system. So like if you don't know what to tell us, we give you a guide, right, on what you need to tell us based on what you know, if you have a question, issue, or request, we tell you what you need to tell us in there. So cool, cool, cool. So with RingOS, right, you go from sign up to selling in days, not weeks. You know, Hussein speaks to a ton of our partners and obviously he's the first person they meet. When they sign up, they come over to our success team. And more often than not, it's, oh my gosh, I've been messing around for a few weeks. I should have signed up 6 weeks ago. And now I have this customer that I want to bring on board, right? How fast can we do this? That's, you know, it's music to my ears and it also breaks my heart sometimes at the same time. But at the end of the day, we can typically get somebody that has a customer ready to go on within the week, as long as if you have the time, we have the time. So if we can get you through training, you can typically bring that customer on very, very quickly. And we've done it many, many, many times. So we want to basically show you how you create a set it and forget it business with this next step. So step 5. We want you to spend less time, spend more time selling and less time worrying about billing and collecting payments and doing all the things, right? You want to be hitting the streets and selling to customers. Why is this thing driving me crazy, guys? Sorry, I have no idea what that thing even is. There we go. Hopefully you guys can't see that and it's just on my screen, but webinar Zoom doesn't like me today. So once again, I'm going to get into the portal and we're going to show you what's up. So I have a quote that I already pre-created. Once again, just for the sake of time, because I want to leave you guys some time to ask some questions. So this is our demo account again. I'm going to click on quotes. So mind you, I already have my own custom subscriptions created in RingOS. But I have this ABC company quote that I created and my ABC customer has already accepted. So when I click on my view button, and I want to dial it back a little bit. So this quote was created with subscriptions that are customized here in the billing engine. So here you can see I've sold a hosted PBX that has, 2 users. I have an install and training one-time charge. And a cool thing is your customer has to accept the quote. So there's a method to send this quote. And you can do it via email, or you can copy a link and put it in your own type of email over to your customer. But you can see we capture the IP address of the customer that accepted the quote here for you. This is not visible to your customer. And once they accept that quote, you get a notice that the quote was accepted so that you can come in here and maybe start to get ready to activate it. So once you have an activated quote, once you have an accepted quote, you're going to hit this activate button. And literally RingOS is going to walk you through all the steps to activate this customer. So as we do a step, it's actually going to cross off. So we're going to go ahead and enter the customer's phone number in here. And we're going to set them a little credit limit. I'm not going to go into too much detail. You got to sign up to hear that. And then select our time zone. And when we hit next, this step is completed. Oh, you got to be joking me. There we go. Must have already had an ABC customer.
You do.
Use that one a lot. I got to change to DEF customer. So now that I've created that step, boom, it's checked off. So if I had to exit, maybe, I got a call from somebody and I needed to, drive my attention elsewhere and I had to get out of here for whatever reason, I could come back in later and you'll see it says activation incomplete. I can come back in and I can finish my activation. So it'll stop at the last step that you did. But our next step is adding the PBX. So with a little training, this will, you'll be able to do this really quickly like I am, but I'm going to, make a little nickname for my PBX. I would enter my caller ID information, so on and so forth. I'm not going to go through a full activation just for the sake of time, but I think you guys get the gist of what's going on. All right. Any questions here? I see another little question in the chat. No? All right.
Nope.
Cool. So I think, Wayne, were you taking over with delivering the killer end user experience?
Yeah. So let's talk about the fact of selling in a market where there are some pretty strong competitors. So the first thing I think you want to look at is, do I have the feature sets to compete? If you're going to a customer, the last thing you want to do is start investigating the possibilities of that customer starting to work with you, only to find out that there are missing features or expectations that that customer had. Good news, this is a well-utilized UCaaS service or PBX. We use NetSapiens. There's over 4 million users who do as well. And it's got over 200 features. I've heard as many as 400, but I don't really have a way to count them all. And so just trust me when I say we got a lot of features, right? Things like mobile and desktop apps and devices. You have voice, video, SMS, chat, fax. On top of that, you have things like call queues for inbound call centers, queue reports, and things like that. And frankly, Crescendo, the company who owns NetSapiens, has been growing very, very quickly, largely because of some of the other providers who have folded up. So think about like Metaswitch and BroadSoft no longer really being viable entities. They picked up a lot of that business, and now that they've grown so quickly, you see a lot of new feature updates within the NetSapiens platform. So let's talk. Go on to our next slide.
Yeah.
The other thing to consider is, who's supporting you in all of this? Like, what infrastructure are you leveraging? So our infrastructure is, I'll call it a bright shiny object for us. We've spent a lot of money to ensure that our customers have a great experience. We are 99.999% in terms of our uptime. So we are 5 nines. We have 3 data centers in North America with active failover. If we were to lose a data center, all phones are going to transition over to one of the other data centers, and we have excess capacity to handle that shift. So we don't really worry about that sort of thing. But if it were to happen, we are well in control of understanding how to migrate our services seamlessly without drop calls. So we feel real good about our position today. We also handle compliance, things like stir shaking, which you may have heard, robocall mitigation, another big word out in the market. So we handle most of that. Depending upon what your decisions are relative to business models, you may or may not have to even think about any of that. But the reality of it is we have it all buttoned up for you. HIPAA compliant if you sell into healthcare, SOC 2 compliance. If you have people, largely this is coming from financial institutions that are going to likely ask that question, but we meet all of those kind of compliance requirements or checklist requirements, so that when you're out selling, you don't have to consider all of those things. Yep. So let's go on to the next slide. Geez, well, fax. Yes, fax is HIPAA compliant, David.
And Lonnie had a question. Wayne, do you want to answer, or you want me to do it? Just click on Q&A from the bottom.
Let's see here. Some buzz, a few communities about providers routing domestic calls through foreign countries networks. So there's a buzz in a few communities about providers routing domestic calls through foreign countries networks. My just first gut reaction is that sounds more like fraud to me than it does normal course of business. So when I see that sort of thing, you start routing off of domestic carriers and into international carriers, there's always a charge. So I'm hard pressed to think about where that benefits anybody if it's not intended. So I don't know that that answers your question, Lonnie, but if you've got additional insights into what it is you were thinking, I'm happy to talk to you about it. But if we're thinking about this from a fraud perspective, we have all sorts of alarms that will go up if somebody is trying to fraudulently do either domestic or international toll fraud. So if that was kind of what you're trying to get at, we've got multiple alarms that will trigger a investigation, and depending upon the nature of it, it could potentially be shutting down the use of that service for the user or the company committing the fraud. That's usually highly dependent upon the characteristics of what we're seeing. That determines whether this is something that we would allow to continue for verification with either you or the end customer, or if it was, so blatantly fraudulent, we would shut it down. Okay, let's talk about scaling your business. When most of our partners start, usually the first thing they do is look at a good existing relationship. They have a customer that they know is interested. They want to get it started on the right foot. They go to a customer that they know will, one, be cooperative if they didn't do something right the first time out. Generally speaking, though, setting up these systems have gotten, it's no longer the Avayas and Vitals where you've got to go to 2 weeks worth of training to figure out how to do the base levels. This is a very simple system by comparison, and most of the time the expectation is that you don't run into any issues other than maybe a misrouting of a particular phone number, queues not configured exactly, but it is the first time out, so start small, find an existing relationship and sell that. Jamie and her team have emails and some other content that you can send out to existing customers to tell them about your new service. And there's additionally some, I believe it's just emails. Oh, no, emails and some social posts too that will go along with this. That's designed to incent referrals. So it's basically a referral ask kind of email. And then if you get to this point where you are now ready to scale, obviously the first place to look is your own customer base. But if you're trying to take it beyond your own customer base and you want to create a bit of a machine, I'm going to suggest that we have a series of content about creating a what I call a scale machine. So that is about 4 hours worth of content around how to build your own machine, essentially. Want to go on to the next slide?
Yes, sir.
And then just as a comment, we understand that for you to grow, we need to support you in a way that helps you grow. Jamie and her team are available. Tech support team is available. We have multiple other teams that are here to support you across a lot of different things, whether that's billing or LNP or other areas. We have a number of people internally that are here. They know the mission of our business is to help our partners succeed. So, Hussein?
Yeah, so call to action. So, we linked up the link to schedule a demo in here. And if you guys want to see some numbers, we build up a profit estimator. So if you need me to go over that with you or send it over to you, please reach out to me directly. I think the email's on the next slide if you guys don't know it. And then we can come back to questions. So that's my email, Jamie's email. If you guys have any questions, reach out to me, reach out to Jamie, and we're here to help. Let's see if we have any questions from anyone.
Yeah,
there's one in there. Yeah, a couple of them.
Okay. Are there any restrictions with VoIP and digital phone systems from manufacturers?
Are you talking about phone models, David? Like devices or?
So I'm going to kind of answer a question that I think you're asking, David. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we support all of them, David. So Algo, Avaya, Cisco, Fanville, Grandstream, HTech, Polycom, Snoms, and the most popular ones are the A-Links. So
Yeah, so a little bit more about just devices in general. It looks like there's a couple of people who are asking. There's a very long list of supported devices. The most of the devices you'll see on that list are, let's just take your big names. You're going to see all of the Yealinks and Polys and Grandstreams, and you'll even see lesser known ones like Fanvilles. So there really is unlikely to be a brand or a model that is not supported. There's two things to consider in all of this. One, you just want to make sure your phones are provisioned correctly to the service. Most of those phones will auto provision. In the case that you find a phone that does not auto provision, then you would manually provision that phone. Pretty rare when that has to happen, but the general answer is long list of phones will auto provision to the service. They'll pull their configurations from us, and any kind of failover instructions should we have to have a an issue with the data center. You want to have the proper failover for those devices so that none of those get lost in a transition to a secondary data center, but should be seamless for just about every phone you're talking about.
Yeah, and Harry asked if there was list. Yeah, of course there is. We do have a list of compatible phones. And yeah, there's definitely, like, I wouldn't call them preferred, but there's definitely favorites, right? So we can help you with, what the ranking is of the preferred type models.
So Harry,
For
just
sure.
it's just support.ringlogix.com and type in supported devices. It'll give you the list. And it's public. You don't even have to be a partner. You just visit our knowledge base.
Cool, cool. Look at us ending on time, being good today. If you have a question that you didn't want to ask or you think of it later, feel free to reach out and email us and we can get you an answer to your question.
There was one question that I think got missed, and it is your digital fax service also HIPAA compliant?
Yeah,
No,
we
answered
answered
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
it is.
we
Okay,
got that.
just want to make sure.
Yeah. Thanks, Gabriella.
Excellent.
Good,
Well,
good.
Appreciate you all coming to our webinar here today. And if we can answer any questions, Hussein, leading our sales team, would be happy to demo, answer questions, but you feel free. Any of us are more than happy to help you get answers to any of your questions.
And one last thing, David, it's Guardians Brewers World Series. So I guess.
Started on sports, ended on sports.
Yep.
Great. Thank you
Baseball
all.
playoffs,
Appreciate
we
you
have to.
joining.
Exactly.